We talked about the progress markers. They clearly give you proof to the pudding that you're actually making progress. Indicators, progress markers. They're a graduated set of statements describing a progression of changed behaviors in the political target. So describing a progression of changed behaviors. On the ladder, we were supposed to indicate like a series of changes in behavior or impacts, if you like. Indicators describe changes in actions, activities, and relationships leading to the ideal outcome. Indicators articulate the complexity of the change process. They're basically the information that quantifies for you your progress. Instead of dreaming about it, you can actually measure it. You can measure if you're going in the right direction or if you need to change your strategy and change approach. As a benchmark after this training, for me, is going to be a couple of things. One is the number of action plans or work plans that you come up with, and I assume it's going to be 17, each and every one of them. So I can already quantify it, but that's not enough because you may have come up with your action plans, but it hasn't led to any change whatsoever yet, no impact yet. So over the longer term, and that's something that Tacso will need to monitor, what impact has this training and your work plans, what has it had on society? For those who know logical framework a little bit better, objectives, outcomes, outputs, and activities. At each level, you can actually identify indicators. You can have indicators that prove that you have conducted your activities. You can have indicators that can prove that you've produced certain outputs. And that is still all within your control. Then it becomes more difficult. There will be indicators that determine if your project has contributed to achieve an outcome. And there will be, and these are particularly, and then the objective, that's the largest type of, and the most difficult type of indicators to actually measure. That's possible too. Then the indicators at the outcome level, that's particularly the level that donor agencies are looking at. What impact, of course they're interested for accountability's sake in what you have done with the funding that has been provided to you and what have you produced. But particularly they're interested to see as a whole, the whole program has created what kind of impact. And it's very important to come up with a set of indicators that actually support you in carrying the evidence to the donor saying we have had impact. And this is how we prove it. So here it's worded a little bit different. Effect, outcome, result, output. Let's do it along this line. So this is the environment group, the Buddha group. So at the activity level, identify areas with high illegal wood cutting and analyze the consequences of the wood cutting and draw the statistics. So what kind of indicators would you put here for that one sentence? At least 3 areas identified. Is the number important? It's very concrete. But it doesn't say anything about the extent of the problem. So sometimes, just like I indicated, like, okay, is the number of areas, is that relevant? Just a number in itself is not all that relevant, I would think. It is relevant if we can say it's a certain percentage of the total surface of the country, right? Then it makes sense. Then you can start to compare if it's a small area where illegal wood cuttings are happening or if it's happening all around the country. And it gives you an additional argument for your lobby. To be so specific about all this, why is that important? Do you monitor your work, success? You monitor the success or the failure of your work. That's one.
And it will change the strategy for the future.
Change the strategy for the future.
Because if we fail, if indicators says that we didn't succeed, then we should change something in our strategy for the future.
Even now.
Even now, also. So it gives you an understanding of what's happening, and if you have to adjust your strategy or if you do not have to adjust it. So it's very important to choose the right indicators for your progress. The indicators also provide you with information to actually not only assess the outcome and assess how you're doing, but also to redefine, we're coming back to the beginning of our cycle, yes, to redefine the policy issue. It contributes to the research and the analysis, which is part of your own organization's strength, of your credibility. The better you are able to identify your indicators and your data, the more it contributes to your credibility as an organization. And you would be amazed how many organizations and project proposals actually have done away just with the monitoring and the indicator framework because either they didn't think it's relevant or they weren't able to do it at this point in time. And then they throw away their steering wheel, because it's with that data that you maneuver, that gives you credibility, and that then gives you the legitimacy and legitimacy. It will help you in working in your network and with your alliances. Plus it gives you the data, very concrete data for your lobby and for your campaign. So it's very important in the background of all this. It defines where you're heading. It defines your strength. It defines how you relate to other agencies in your network. It provides you with the arguments that you would like to use to strengthen your case. And you can use the data in your communication, in your flyers, in your campaigns, etc. Because they are giving you the proof. And that's what people are after. So we shouldn't underestimate the value of it. Now if we put those 5 principles from before on, they're here on a row, forget the 6 kinds of strategies that fell into the, right now it's actually 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 kind of strategies. These are the class principles again: research and analysis, legitimacy and constituency involvement, networking, lobbying and communication and media. And you can aim those at 2 different audiences. One, as we discussed, the political target, and the other is at your allies. And you can even define strategies how to work with your allies. And why was that again important? Because it helps you in managing your network dynamics. Yes? You don't want to have a coalition that ultimately collapses because of a lack of information or miscommunication. Because then you lose your strength also if that collapses. So like this you can start to refine the options that you have and at which level you want to intervene through which strategy. It's just a tool for you to help you. Clearly monitoring and evaluation. If you have your set of indicators ready, even external evaluators for the purpose of your own monitoring, like we discussed right now or during the course of your implementation. And even if external evaluators come and visit you and they would like to assess Tacso as a program, they will have external evaluators. How have they been doing? There will be, sometimes end of year evaluations, cost-effective analysis, and in relation to the budget, they will look at how has the budget been spent, on what, and with your indicators you will be able to give satisfactory answers.